Good late morning, everyone. How you doing? I'm Judy Mosley with Laughing Place here. Background, which looks really hideous. Joining me also is Benjamin Breitbart, our CEO here, and we are
Yeah,
here to bring you.
we're here to talk Lightning Lane by with an image of Disney Springs that doesn't have lightning. Okay.
um, all right, so hopefully some people will be joining us in just a moment. I know it takes a moment on YouTube for the word to get out, but we're going to go ahead and get started. I'm sure we'll be recapping later. You know, I'm sorry, Ben. I noticed that it's not on YouTube right now, and I won't be fair with that. Oh, no, it's there. Okay, sorry about that. Okay, so we are here. Hi, YouTube. I can see you're out there now. All right, so we're going to be talking about some breaking news that literally has just come down 2 minutes ago in the world of Lightning Lane, Genie Plus, sorta, kinda, and all that stuff. So, Ben, you want to do a quick recap?
Yeah, so they teased that pre-planning Lightning Lane was going to be coming to Walt Disney World. So it's here starting July 24th. They will be you'll be able to pre-purchase Lightning Lane 7 days in advance for um, resort guests, 3 days for everybody else, and 7 days for the length of your stay. So up to 14 days. So you don't have
And
to
I
go in every day to book
sorry,
it.
interrupt really quick. Did you mention this is Walt Disney World?
Yeah, this is Walt Disney. This is for Walt Disney World only. There is one update to Disneyland, um, which is the name change. So individual Lightning Lane will be now called Lightning Lane Single Pass. What used to be called Genie Plus will now be Lightning Lane Multi Pass, and Genie will remain as it is, the planning part of it. Um, so guests will be able to pre-purchase three Lightning Lane for Lightning Lane single pass. It's going to be as it is. You can pre-purchase access to a Lightning Lane for the most popular attractions. Multi pass, you'll be able to see pre-purchase three experiences, and then once you ride your first experience, you'll be able to add another one on. It is and you'll be able to pick these things before you pay for it. So you'll know what you're getting into. So you're not going to buy it and then say, "Oh no, everything's booked up." So you'll go in basically knowing you have three attractions that you have Lightning Lane guaranteed for, and then as the day goes on, you can add possibly if you purchase Lightning Lane multi pass, Lightning Lane single pass. Obviously, you'll pre-purchase that um, as it is today. Now, some people notice this sounds a lot like Fast Pass Plus. There's three major differences. One is you can add another Lightning Lane or access after you ride your first attraction. You don't have to wait for all three. The window is much shorter, 7 days as opposed to 60 days, and it costs money.
I think that's the big change from Fast Pass Plus, but the big change from. So essentially, is it accurate to say Lightning Lane Multipass was called GD Plus?
Yes, it is. It's the same thing, just now you can pre-purchase it.
Okay,
So the
so
name change is changing at Disneyland, but the Disneyland process is staying the same as it is today.
so the term Genie Plus is now a thing of the past. It does not
Well,
exist
will
for
be
Disney
July
in,
World
24th.
yeah,
on
in,
July
in about a
24th.
month.
And you said 7 days in advance, but correct me if I'm wrong. It's 7 days in advance of the start of your trip, and the trip can be up to 14 days. So presumably, you could almost get 20 days in
21.
advance.
Right. Yes. So it's similar to the way Genie Plus used to, or sorry, Fast Pass Plus used to be, where it was like, the first day is the one, and then at the back end of your trip is when you really could get the best access. So smart people would book backwards, forwards, because whenever they become available. I don't know what time it becomes available. I don't know what that means. That's a good question I just thought of that I didn't ask, but
And that's 7 days in advance for Walt Disney World Resort Hotel guests. 3 days in
yes.
advance if you are not a Walt Disney World Resort
Yeah,
Hotel
so
guest.
annual pass holders and day guests staying at other properties would have a shorter window.
Thing at the Motel 6. Get 3 days to book. Now, we don't know for certain if they're affecting availability or with or inventory for this. Like, I mean, is it possible that third day comes and it's just all gone already?
Yeah, I mean it's possible. I don't know how likely, but it's possible. And obviously you may not get the time you want. Um, so that's why you're able to see what you have before you commit to purchasing it.
And we don't
And
know
just
with this.
and I think unlike Fast Pass Plus, if I'm not mistaken, Well, I guess there was no cost. You don't have to book it for your whole, right? If you're taking a day off, you don't need to pay a whole week of unless you're actually using it.
And that is the multi-pass. And then, so there's also a new term, at least, Lightning Lane single pass, which is what exactly?
They should be called individual lightning lane. So that's the single attractions like Guardians of the Galaxy, Cosmic Rewind. I don't even. I fails to grasp me which ones are that, but it's the ones where you get, yeah, or Flight Passage.
Yeah.
The ones where it's just not part of the regular Genie. It wasn't part of Genie Plus. It used to be called individual lightning lane. You just buy one ride for a certain cost.
And now that is, again, as well, also available 7 days ahead of time for resort guests and 3 days ahead of time for non-resort guests.
Did you want to show they released a little video, which you can find on our Twitter. We shared that natively. If you wanted to show that, it kind of goes through. It's a fun little commercial, but it also goes through kind of how the booking process will work to give you a better visual of it all.
Yeah, let me cue that up. Give me 1 sec.
But yeah, it is really funny how we're kind of going backwards to Fast Pass Plus.
It's kind of like they went all out of all this way to make sure it wasn't like Fast Pass Plus because they were charging for it and they didn't want that straight comparison. And then as they kept evolving it, it basically just became Fast Pass Plus and they're charging for it.
Before I play this video that will give us all the warm fuzzies about this company, do they have an edict internally that says we must change how things work before people fully understand it?
Yeah, I feel it, and especially since Disneyland and Disney World are on different pages, it's kind of even we're in this every day. Like, and I mean, granted, I don't necessarily use all these services all the time, but like, it's hard to remember where I'm doing. And then add the international parks. Disneyland Paris is a whole other system. It's hard to remember where you're at and how it works.
Mike Mack says, "Let's hope there's an original song." Let's watch this.
So, you want to purchase the Lightning Lane Pass? Let's see what you need to get ready, when you can buy passes, and how to make your selections. First, gather your group's wish list for attractions and experiences. Make sure you've downloaded the My Disney Experience app and connect everyone in your travel group on your family and friends list. You can purchase Lightning Lane passes beginning at 7 a.m. 3 days prior to your first park day. And if you're staying at a Disney Resort hotel and other select hotels, even better. You can purchase Lightning Lane passes 7 days prior to your resort reservation check-in day. When you're ready to make your purchase, open the My Disney Experience app. Select the date and park. Whether you're purchasing a Lightning Lane multi-pass, single pass, or both, you can make your group's initial selections for each day in one go. Get to the magic faster with a Lightning Lane pass.
When do they get rid of the My Disney Experience name?
Subtly, not that long ago. It was when they.
No, I'm saying they should. They still used it in that.
Oh, really?
But yeah, I think it's still, if you search for My Disney Experience in the App Store, it comes up, but on your actual icon itself, it says Walt Disney World.
Well, it's confusing because it's not My Disney Experience. It's Disney World Experience because I have many different Disneyland. I have a Disney app for every park, and
I've gotten good at spotting the castle differences in the logos for the international parks.
Yeah, thankfully Hong Kong changed their castle, so it makes it a little easier. Otherwise, it used to drive me crazy.
We did hear in there that the booking time starts at 7 a.m., presumably Eastern time. So all us West Coasters traveling to Florida get that alarm set for 4 a.m. so we can get our Lightning Lane multi-pass and Lightning Lane single pass. Any other announcements that were made regarding all this? What happens when you act, for those who don't pre-book, or forget, even if you do pre-book, what happens when you get to the park? Can you book more?
After you do the first attraction, well, the individual Lightning Lane single pass, you can book as long as there's availability. Lightning Lane single multi-pass, you can book once you ride your first experience. So you should theoretically, you could have 3 at any given time.
Every time you ride one, another window opens.
Right. I mean, obviously, things will become more and more limited, just as they were under other systems. But yeah,
And if you're like me and you're not a pre-planner and you just get to the park that day and go, oh shoot, I should have bought Lightning Lane, you will book. You can see what 3 things are available and then make your decision to purchase them.
Assuming Lightning Lane multi-pass is still available, or either is still available, they do sell out. So.
And as you can see in the screenshot, you are going to be able to purchase multi-pass and single pass in a single transaction rather than having to go back and do it. So it should be a little bit more streamlined than it has been.
And I got to give them credit. You know, the app has actually gotten a lot better lately. Like now you can verify that your Magic Band will actually open your room, because I can't tell you how many times when they make me use like resort check-in and then I go to the room and my Magic Band won't work, and then you call them and they're like, oh, you need to go to the front desk. And I was like, well, that defeats straight to room. So, you know, it's getting a little, I think once they got rid of like, you know, all the outsourced people that they were using to develop My Disney Experience, it finally kind of able to clean out that code and actually make it work.
Crud, I had a question.
Now, if only they could figure out how to allow people to buy Run Disney races easily.
What does this do? Oh, sorry. Most important question. What does this do to the ever popular Disney Genie service?
So Genie will stay the same. It's just there was no more Genie Plus. So Disney Genie exists. It will still work. I don't know that anyone has used it, but
basically the idea of calling it Genie Plus was just to be like, no, we're giving you this free service and then we're introducing something paid. So now that they're over that, they're like, no, you're just paying for a service now, so we can just. It's
just a continued de-chapekization of Disney parks. You know, as they just try and.
And obviously, this is the fear making my spirit animal for those who aren't staying on property. That the hotel guest and that 4-day advantage they have, plus being able to book out. It's not only a 4-day advantage; it's a 4-day plus 14-day advantage. It'll be slim pickings by the time us Howard Johnsons of the world get around to booking our
closer to the front gate of Disneyland than Disneyland.
But
I also should give a plug to our partner Mouse Fan Travel, who will help you figure all this out and probably remind you that your 7 days is coming up.
Yes,
you know, I know that they're probably going through all this information just like we are, but they're pretty good at making sure you don't forget your dates.
They're gonna send you a clip from The Ring. 7 days.
And you can watch Mouse Fan Travel and Rebecca talk vacation planning as we are literally halfway to Halloween. Did I put that thing in random?
Holidays.
I think I did. Halloween, yes. Halfway to Halloween. Yesterday was literally the halfway point to Christmas. I learned on TikTok, so it's a good thing they did it yesterday. And Heather of Mouse Fan Travel and Rebecca will be talking about planning your upcoming vacation for the holidays.
I like upcation. We need to make that a thing. I don't know what it means exactly. Like, you know, you can upcycle, so maybe you have like an upcation.
What I miss about doing a morning show with you, Kyle.
Speaking of Halloween, though, the Oogie Boogie Bash tickets went on sale for Inspire ticket holders.
Is Mike going this year?
Mike is going this year, but not the first one, because that was
Hashtag upcation. This is my new column here. Luxury travel, as told by Doobie, the poorest.
It's going to start with your Tiana review.
Well, speaking of upcation, did you know about this Oogie Boogie Bash VIP tour?
I learned something about it a few minutes ago. What exactly is it?
So let me see if it starts at 2:30, includes admission, includes, this is probably the easiest way to find out this information is probably not through the website.
Laughing Place.
Probably should be on that.
I would hope.
It includes event admissions starting at 2:30, park hopper, so you can go to the park before the party, $30 food and beverage credit per guest, a VIP tour Oogie Boogie Bash pin, a VIP tour jack-o'-lantern candy holder, priority access to Villains Grove Trail, and reserved VIP viewing. Parade viewing. Up to 8 guests. 8-hour tour.
Sounds fun. Might want to check that out. Anything else regarding that? I'd like to do a complete recap of it, but I just want to make sure I haven't left anything out. Like such a bigger deal than it actually is.
Well, I think it's a big deal for planning.
More complicated. It's not a big deal, but it's not a complicated deal.
It's more complicated and less complicated at the same time.
Yeah,
I mean, VIP tour.
I think. What's that?
How much was that VIP tour?
It varies by date, but my understanding is on a select date, it's $7,500 for 8 people.
Okay. Go ahead, Kyle. Sorry.
Oh, actually, no. I didn't get what Mickey is my spirit animal was asking about. But so the pricing for this is still variable, right? So you still might. So when you're booking your things in advance, you might see different prices for the different days, and then put it all in one
And if you're
cart.
smart,
still?
you'll look at what the pricing is for each day and then go to the park, kind of play that game. But which I'm sure you want to do at 4 a.m.
Do you think they will dynamically price this like January 25th will be a certain price if you try to buy it on January 20th, and then they see how that goes, and they change the price on January 21st?
I wouldn't think that they would do that, but
I don't think yet. I think that may come, but I don't think they're not ready for that.
That's how you
Anyway,
make sure
I got to
it's
run,
allowed.
but
Okay.
thanks for
Thanks, Ben.
sharing.
And we're going to stay here with Kyle, taking over Ben's spot, now CEO of the Laughing Place conglomerate. All right, Kyle, we heard it from Ben's mouth. Let's hear it from your mouth now. Tell us, as if people are just tuning in, what is going on?
So a few things. The first thing you need to know is that Genie Plus is being rebranded, as is individual Lightning Lane. Now it is going to be Lightning Lane Multipass and Lightning Lane Single Pass, respectively. I tell you that to tell you this. As of July 24th, you will now be able to book Multipass and Single Pass ahead of time. If you're staying at a Walt Disney World Resort hotel, it'll be up to 7 days before the start of your trip. If you are not staying at a resort hotel, it is going to be 3 days in advance. You'll be able to select 3 attractions with Multipass. And then once you use your first reservation, you'll be able to make additional ones or an additional one. That's something I'm not 100% clear on. I assume just one more after.
I know that's what Ben said, is as you use, you can book one more.
And individual Lightning Lane, which is, like I said, is going to be Lightning Lane Single Pass. You can also buy those in advance on those same time frames. So I guess you still have to get up early in the morning, but you get to get up early in the morning a week before your trip instead of on the morning of your trip to try to get that hot ticket.
Right. And if you're a Walt Disney World guest, you can book 7 days from your first day, but you can book for your entire trip. So you only have to
up to 14
once.
days. So if you're staying for 3 weeks,
It's true.
pump the brakes.
But if you're not a Disney World guest, you got to get up 3 days before every day of your trip. So that's a pain in the butt. If you're there for a week, staying off property, you get to wake up at 4 a.m. for a week straight to try to book your. And I guess you're actually going to be at Disney World for part of that. So then it only becomes 7 a.m. Well, it's not quite so bad. But so isn't that when virtual queue drops too? 7 a.m.
The first one's, I think, at 7. Yeah.
So when you're trying to book that Genie plus get your virtual queue, you got to have your 2 phones going. Oh man, get that on video.
You're saying so? Like if you're just a day guest?
Yeah, if you're a day guest on day 2 of your 7-day trip, so you're trying to get your day 5.
Well, at that point, I figure most of the good stuff's going to be picked over anyway. So I don't know how much competition there'll be for Multipass.
If that is the case, that is so sad.
Well, I mean, that's kind of how it was back in the day with, as we talked about, this sounds a lot like Fast Pass Plus. But again, we'll go through the differences there. First, you have to still pay for this. It's not free again. 2, that was if you were staying at a resort hotel, it was 60 days in advance that you would book it. And 3, you actually needed to go through all 3 of your reservations before you can make additional ones. So there are some changes, but I know everyone. If you look at our Twitter replies, everyone's caught on to what this looks like.
I do like the 7 days more than the 60 days. 60 days is too far out to be trying to plan that much detail. 7 days.
Yeah, and I mean, to their credit, while I hate the paid aspect of it, and a lot of the things that people that I didn't like that 60-day planning in advance. I liked the idea of being able to be more spontaneous with it. And so some of the changes Disney's made in recent years, I could kind of appreciate that aspect of it. This is kind of a nice middle ground, I think, except for that you still have to pay for it. Like that's kind of the sticking point. If you didn't like it before, you're probably not going to like it a whole lot more now. But at least I guess this gives you the option to see ahead of, because I think that's kind of where the most disappointment comes in, is people who buy the service and then feel like they didn't get anything out of it. So I do appreciate that you can select your attractions before you even pay, so you know what you're getting. And then
Because right now you can see overall availability, and you can still, so you would know what your first attraction is, but then you have to buy it and go from there. Am I correct?
So I've never actually used it, so I don't know for sure. But I've heard from people that say, they purchased it and everything was just too busy or the wait times were too late.
Right.
So I think having it in advance and seeing,
Even day of, being able to see 3 attractions. Okay, I'm getting these 3 and paying for those, as opposed to right now where you can see 1, but you can actually book another, and then things change.
Yeah, I
between
think
now and then,
I think
so
you
that's
do
nice.
it that way.
Yeah.
Maybe I should go to Maybe I think Laughing Place needs to send me to Walt Disney World to experience Genie Plus and get an update before it goes away.
Well, you're the sitting CEO. I think you can make that call on your own. And then again, for Disneyland, what's changing?
Disneyland, it's adopting the new nomenclature on July 24th. So they'll have Lightning Lane multipass and Lightning Lane single pass, but operationally it's staying the same. In fact, you'll remember Disneyland kind of introduced this style of fast pass type thing with Max Pass. So they're staying the same. They're not going to have any advanced reservation things, but they are taking on the new nomenclature just to make things a little less confusing.
Jacob was a fan of the original Fast Pass. It was free, simple to plan, no hassle, no fuss. That is all true. It was free.
Paper fast
simple,
passes. Free, if you don't use them, you get free souvenirs. How many paper fast passes do you have in your collection still?
I don't think I have any, to be honest.
Wow.
I can't think of having any.
I have at least a couple. I know I have one for Ratatouille when it was still exclusive to Paris.
Oh, Ratatouille. I didn't go back that far, but yes. Yes, Max. Step away for a few days and everything changes around
Mac,
there.
look at me. Look at me.
You should see your new position, Mac. Check out the masthead. All right. So obviously this is all on Laughing Place. I don't think there's actually a ton of questions, but if people do have questions, you can always hit us up on Twitter. Oh, apparently we have many, so my bad.
Just like she doesn't have a lot of Stitch merch until she actually dives into it, and then.
So if you let us know on Twitter any questions, there's always little minutia stuff that you don't really understand until you get into it. We do have the ability to clarify some of this, so if you have questions, please let us know and we'll do our best to find out. Before we go though, we do want to once again show you this very cute, do you say primer or primer?
Primer.
Primer.
Like you prime a pump?
Yeah, that's what I thought too, but in Contact he calls it a primer. So, and he's a smarter guy than me. We're going to show you this cute primer Disney put out to help you with your application.
So, you want to purchase a Lightning Lane pass? Let's see what you need to get ready, when you can buy passes, and how to make your selections. First, gather your group's wish list for attractions and experiences. Make sure you've downloaded the My Disney Experience app and connect everyone in your travel group on your family and friends list. You can purchase Lightning Lane passes beginning at 7 a.m. 3 days prior to your first park day. And if you're staying at a Disney Resort hotel and other select hotels, even better. You can purchase Lightning Lane passes 7 days prior to your resort reservation check-in day.
I'm going to back up a bit because this
And friends list. You can purchase Lightning Lane passes beginning at 7 a.m. 3 days prior to your first park day.
Okay, so this said 3 days prior to your first park day. So to me, if you have a multi-day ticket, not necessarily an annual pass, but a multi-day ticket, you actually can purchase for more than just 3 days out.
Yeah, same
Okay.
as you can for the up to 14 days for the.
Presumably, the annual pass holders, that's not the. So how does that? Wait a minute. Maybe this is a question for, but because when you have a 4-day ticket, it's not necessarily for consecutive days.
I would guess that for annual pass holders, it'd be 3 days before your reservation, where you can't make reservations every day, but then they can go on days where I imagine that if you have a reservation day, because they still have those, right? That it would be 3 days ahead of time. But if you go on a good to go day, or if you go past whatever time they're allowed to go, then you can book at the time of. I haven't even been to Walt Disney World in years. You think I'm an annual pass holder? I don't know.
Well, what I'm wondering about is if you're just a day guest, if you're a guest not staying on property.
Right.
You buy a 5-day
Multi-day
pass.
ticket. I would imagine that you could do the same thing where you can book them out for your whole trip starting 3 days before your first day.
Yeah, and I didn't think multi-day tickets required consecutive days. Maybe I'm wrong about that, and so that makes sense. But that's good to know. I did not realize it was prior to the first.
We
day
can
for
get
my
confirmation on
resort
that. That's
guests,
what
too.
it sounds like to me.
Okay, well, I'm very happy to hear that. You don't have to wake up every single morning.
And if you're staying at a Disney Resort hotel and other select hotels, even better. You can purchase Lightning Lane passes 7 days prior to your resort reservation check-in day. When you're ready to make your purchase, open the My Disney Experience app. Select the date and park. Whether you're purchasing a Lightning Lane multi-pass, single pass, or both, you can make your group's initial selections for each day in one go. Get to the magic faster with a Lightning Lane pass.
There it is. Do you think Rebecca and Heather could license the name from you so they can call their show Upcationing?
I will do that for no charge, actually.
Wow.
I
$1. You have to make it, legal when it has to change hands.
Sorry, I'm just reading this real quick because see if there's something in here. But okay, right. So anyway, and again, if you are planning a trip and find all this confusing, or even if you don't, because there's really no reason not to, may we recommend that you use Mouse Fan Travel to help you with all your Disney vacation planning, because there's a lot to do, and they'll make sure nothing gets missed. Let's see. I think we have date-based tickets. Thank you very much. We have a question, I believe. What is the difference between multi-pass and single pass? Are they different rides? So the multi-pass is what's called Genie Plus now, and that is where there are a bunch of rides you choose from, and you book a time and you go on that ride. The single pass is what's called Individual Lightning Lane now, and those are certain rides where you have to pay a fee to go on
So
them.
it's usually the top tier ride in the park. I think some parks still have 2, but most only have 1 now.
Yeah, I think so.
So yeah, if you're familiar with the current system, it's just a change in name. But yeah, the multi-pass is going to cover a lot of popular attractions besides like ones that have really high capacity, whereas the top tier is reserved for the single pass one. So like Rise of the Resistance, that's the I think Radiator Springs Racers at DCA still has it, doesn't it? I don't even know.
Yeah, I'm not sure what they do, but as far as are they different rides, yes. I don't believe any attractions are both plus.
No, sometimes they move attractions between them temporarily. They've done some experimentation there, but yeah, it's a different. There's no overlap.
Right. Now, there is overlap between Individual Lightning Lane and Virtual Queue. There are plenty of attractions that have both of those, which is a whole separate thing, the Virtual Queue.
Yes, Mickey is My Spirit Animal mentions Tron, which I was pretty sure was a single pass attraction, but was not 100% sure.
Yeah, and I believe they've already announced that Tiana's Bayou Adventure will be a single pass attraction as well as a virtual.
No. I'm pretty sure
No?
that's actually going to be included with
You're right.
Genie Plus, which means that it will now be included with multi-pass.
You are correct. I am very sorry. It will be multi-pass, but it is also going to be a virtual queue. There will be no standby.
Yeah, but they don't anticipate it being a virtual queue for as long as other attractions such as Guardians of the Galaxy have been, where it still is a virtual queue. So hopefully after the summer, when things die down a little bit for water-based attractions, it'll probably go to standby.
Has a virtual queue attraction, have any of the virtual queues stopped being virtual queues? They must be.
Yeah.
Yeah. Rise of Resistance was one, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm. Ratatouille had a virtual queue too.
You had 2 of them?
As well.
Oh, okay.
2 O's.
All right. That's our news. We've got, in 2.5 hours, 1 p.m. Pacific, we've got vacation planning halfway to holidays.
Hour and a half, right?
11:30, 12:30, you're right. 1.5 hour. Goodness, I need an application. In 1.5 hour, we've got vacation planning with Mouse Fan Travel's Heather and Doobie's Rebecca, and they will be helping you plan your holiday trip as we are halfway to Christmas.
Upcationing, catching up on all the Disney news.
To check that out, you can read more about, if you're a reader, not a listener, you can read much more about these changes on Laughing Place right now. It is certainly our top story, I would hope. And
I think it's been pushed. I think it's a top story. I think other people are handling these things while I talk to you.
Should we put a hashtag on there? I feel like it would be a good shirt. Should it be hashtag upcation or just upcation?
We'll have to see what the design looks like.
Okay. As soon as we get our 25th logo done,
We can put this on the fans too.
Oh man, we can make this a thing. Anyway, thanks guys for joining us. Be sure to like, subscribe, ring that bell. Be sure to let our friends over at Mouse Fan Travel know where you heard about them, and use them because
You couldn't see my shirt the entire time, but now that you can, I need to mention that this was provided by Roosevelt's, even though it does not look like a Roosevelt shirt.
What is it now that you
Stormtroopers.
Roosevelt? Let's give them some. Thank them properly by showing off their stuff.
Yes, thank you, Roosevelt's. These are one of their super soft T-shirts.
I didn't know they did T-shirts. Wow.
They've started doing more, and they're quite comfy.
I thought our Roosevelt's was like Hawaiian type shirts. What else do they do, Kyle?
So they have the Kunu Flex. They also have a Shred Flex, which I have one of those. It's kind of like a long sleeve shirt that's real stretchy, and it's good for like layering. They also have the Borland Flex, which might sound familiar if you've ever watched Home Improvement. It's named after Al Borland. That's like their flannel long sleeve style. They also do the T-shirts. They've done hats. They've done boxer briefs at some point. I don't have any of those. And then hoodies. Yeah, the hoodies. I love the hoodies. The performance hoodies are what those are called.
Oh, Mac's got some. He's got the tees. Do you have any of the boxers, Mac? I'm just curious. Do not demonstrate.
Roosevelt's, the official brand of upcationing.
We'll talk more merchandise, by the way. There's more LP coming up today at 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 Eastern. We've got Barely Necessities, the Disney merchandise show with the 2 LP Rebeccas. And that's always a fun conversation. So 1 p.m. Pacific, plan your trip. 4 p.m. Pacific, Barely Necessities, breaking news when it happens. Thank you, Kyle.
Thank you.
Thank you, posthumously Ben, and we will see you.
He's still alive. He just left the stream.
That doesn't mean what you think it means. Okay, thanks everybody.